Ahoy there! I'm Panderbander. Welcome to the Rushing Wolf Universal Werewolf PVP build video. This is a non-class specific build for Werewolf for Update 35. It's something I've been playing for a while and having a blast with, as it's fully capable of handling both 1v1 and 1vx situations thanks to its high damage and high recovery capabilities. But enough of that, let's dive into the build. For this build, I am using an Orc Templar. I chose this particular combination for the health, stamina, and weapon damage passives offered by Orc, and the damage and survivability passives offered by the Templar class. However, this build can and will work on nearly any class and race combination. I've personally also used it on Imperial Sorcerer as well as a Khajiit Dragon Knight with success. I am using a loadout of 40 points into health and 24 into stamina, and using the Jewel's Misrule for my food buff. If you're feeling like your gold reserves are a bit too deep lately, you can also use the Orzaga's Bear Haunch, though the very slight benefits don't outweigh the difference in cost for me. Another option is to use Bewitched Sugar Skulls for max stats, though your sustain will suffer if you go this route. Finally, for my Mundus, I'm using the Serpent. This improves my stamina sustain, and combined with the Jewels of Misrule, should have me sitting right around 2000 stamina sustain. Now, for gear, the first set that I'm running is a tried and true werewolf set, Student's Favor. On damaging an off-balance enemy, this set will give me a large amount of offensive penetration for 10 seconds, allowing me to push some obscene damage numbers on my targets. This set is craftable and so can be set up in any combination of weights that I want. For this build, I'm running a heavy reinforced chest and legs, a heavy well-fitted helm, medium well-fitted gloves, and a light well-fitted belt of the Student's Favor set. The next set is Rush of Agony. This is a set from the Dread Cellar DLC dungeon and comes in medium only. On dealing direct damage with a blink, charge, leap, teleport, or pull ability, it will pull enemies within 10 meters to you. Then, after 2 seconds, it explodes, dealing a large amount of physical damage to all enemies within 7 meters of you. Interestingly, this pull doesn't apply crowd control immunity, meaning I can follow it up with a deafening roar to fear them and apply off balance. This set combos beautifully for that reason, and gives Werewolf a decent burst combo, something the playstyle lacks. For this build, I am using the Rush of Agony boots in well-fitted, ring in robust, neck in infused, and a sharpened greatsword with a weapon damage enchant. The build is also using a single piece of Magma Incarnate to boost my recoveries. This is a monster set found in the Dread Cellar as well, although there is also the Baron Thirsk monster set to achieve the same results and is easily acquired off the Baron Thirsk boss in Imperial City. Finally, for my Mythic, I'm using the recently nerfed, but still very good Oaken Soul Ring with the Bloodthirsty trait. As a werewolf in PvP, this supplies me with all 3 minor recoveries, minor berserk, minor protection, minor mending, and minor force, giving me 15% extra recoveries, 5% extra damage, 5% damage mitigation, 8% healing done, and 10% more critical damage. It's not the Oaken Soul Zos originally released, but it's still a very potent mythic and hard to replace. All armor pieces are using the Tri-Stat enchant, and all jewelry pieces are using either a weapon or spell damage enchant. The choice of whether to use weapon or spell damage is up to you and your expected self-buffs or buffs provided by other players. If you expect to run Dragon Knights, use weapon damage. For Templars, use spell damage. I'm using the following set of abilities for this build. Brutal Pounce for the AoE damage and bleed, Claws of Life for the healing return provided, Howl of Agony as my single target spammable, Hircine's Fortitude for my heal, and Deafening Roar for my AoE fear. Finally, this build uses the Pack Leader morph of Werewolf for the damage mitigation provided by it. This is especially important when leaping into groups. Finally, champion points. In the blue CP tree, I'm using the Focused Mending, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Occult Overload Slottables. Focused Mending improves my healing by 10%, affecting both the Hircine's Fortitude heal and the return from Claws of Life. Master at Arms gives me a boost to all of my direct damage, and Occult Overload deals 12,800 AoE Oblivion damage whenever I kill a target with a status effect on them, helping to finish off groups. Deadly Aim in this build is optional and can be swapped for Biting Aura to help boost your AoE damage. In the red tree, I'm using the Slippery, Refreshing Stride, Pain's Refuge, and Celerity Slottables. Each of these provides an important boon to the build, with Slippery giving me an auto break free at no cost every 21 seconds, Pain's Refuge giving me some significant damage reduction as negative effects stack up, and Celerity giving me movement speed, which is survivability in PvP as much as quality of life. The Refreshing Stride Slottable is something of my secret weapon when it comes to Magicka recovery. It gives 500 Magicka in health recovery while sprinting, meaning I can use Sprint as an on-demand recovery tool when things get a bit too hot. When using this build, there are a few things that need to be done in a specific order to maximize its effectiveness. To start, when you leap onto a target, instead of immediately applying the Brutal Carnage bleed, you will instead hit Deafening Roar. This will fear the targets around you and apply Off Balance and Major Breach to them. Then use Brutal Carnage. The hit will proc stuns to improve your offensive penetration, and the application of Brutal Carnage will buff your weapon and spell damage to increase your damage output further. At this point, Rush of Agony should go off, dealing its damage at around the same time as you begin spamming Claws of Life on a group or Howl of Agony on a single target. On all but the tankiest targets, this is usually enough to knock out 50% or more of the enemy's health, leaving you to clean up or leaving them panicking. So this build is a lot of fun and works well in a lot of situations, from 1v1 to 1vx, or even in groups where you're able to stack up targets for you and your packmates to take down. With smart play, it's also survivable and can easily become your daily driver when playing a werewolf. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons below it, and don't forget to hit the alerts button as well to be notified whenever new content comes out.